Yo, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth into Star Wars, talking about Tales of the Jedi, the animated series of shorts that just dropped on Disneyplus. More specifically, short number 2. We're going to be talking about Justice. That's what this one's called. Spoilers ahead. Watch the short before listening to my thoughts. Jumping right into this thing now, and you were warned. So, when watching Attack of the Clones for the first time about 20 years ago, one of the coolest bits of dialogue that stood out to me as a prequel fan was when Dooku let everyone in the audience know that Qui-Gon Jinn was once his apprentice. That really got my imagination firing on all cylinders. I'm sure it did that to quite a few Star Wars fans back in the day. So, needless to say, I really liked this short. Liked hearing Corey Burton back as Dooku. I've been listening to Corey voicing Dooku since, what was it, fall of 2003 when the Gendy series started. It's always cool listening to him back in the role of Dooku. And I think casting Michael Richardson as a much younger Qui-Gon Jinn is a stroke of genius because he is, of course, the son of Liam Neeson. So he should know exactly how Qui-Gon would be delivering these lines of dialogue, and I think he did a great job. So you have Dooku and Qui-Gon, master and apprentice. I don't think Qui-Gon is a knight yet. I think he's still a Padawan here, and they are trying to negotiate a hostage situation. The senator's son has been kidnapped. And right off the bat, when they land on this planet and when they approach this village, I like how I can't remember if the audio description describes Qui-Gon or Dooku having this surprised expression because I mean they're looking at droids that are all depowered. They're looking at rats running around. There's a skinny dog that runs out just barking, and things just aren't adding up here. So they get to this bar, and I love the scene where they enter. Dooku, being a man of action, very brash. I like how he doesn't mince words. He goes, "Where's the senator's son? What have you done with him?" And no one's really wanting to tell him anything. I think this village elder asks him, "Well, who wants to know? Why should we tell you anything?" That's when he pulls out that lightsaber, and that's when everybody finds out that yeah, these guys are Jedi. They're not messing around. Dooku deduces that all of these guys are in on the kidnapping. But I mean, you don't have a blaster shootout or anything. They actually take them to see the senator's son. And he's being held in this two-story barn. Surprisingly, he empathizes with these people because they have very shoddy living conditions. I think they're living hand to mouth. Their droids don't work. We find out that quite a few of them are very, very hungry. There's only so much they can do, and so yeah, they want food. They want to be represented in the Senate. That's why they've captured this kid. And I like when Dooku and Qui Gon find out. Oh well, this kid and his dad, they had no idea about the living conditions of these people. But right when they find that out, you've got Senator Dagny, Daddy Dagny, as I like to call him. He shows up. He's got a bunch of soldiers with him, and he is just bellowing at the top of his lungs, "Where's my kid?" I'm paraphrasing here. He is not happy. I mean, I wouldn't be happy either if my kid was captured. But, I mean, these people, from what the descriptive audio narration track has described, they don't very much look as if they're in the best situation. I mean, they don't really seem like they do very well in a fight. These are untrained villagers, and the senator here, he's brought some trained guards, some trained soldiers with him, and understandably, though, he wants his kid back. Dooku is trying his best to defuse the situation. I like this one bit where the senator is demanding that Qui-Gon and Dooku help him. He's like, "Well, you serve the Senate. You have to do what we say, do your job." And Dooku's like, "Nah, we serve the people of this republic." And the descriptive audio narration track, it let me know that one of the villagers was actually kind of surprised by that. Like, "Oh, hey, these guys understand us. But the senator's going to have none of it, and he has his soldiers begin to fire on the villagers. It is a very messy shootout. You've got, I would say, more villagers falling than soldiers. These guys, I mean, they've got blasters, but I don't think they've been trained for combat or anything. You see quite a few of them fall. The elder, she's hit. And Dooku has had just about enough. We get to see him flirting with the dark side a little bit. He's had enough. The senator, I think he says something like, well, you've forced my hand here. Now I'm going to make an example of this town. I'm going to make an example of quite a few other towns. I'm going to destroy you all. And he's out of hand. But I mean, hey, his kid has been captured. I would imagine he doesn't know whether he's alive or dead. And Dooku just force chokes him. And Qui-Gon tries to intervene, and Dooku's like, nah, you be quiet. He throws him against the side of the barn, and he's still fending off guards as he's force choking the senator. And Qui-Gon, he thinks on his feet. He's living in the moment, as he says later in the episode. He runs into the barn, frees the senator's son, and that's who diffuses the situation. Comes out, the senator sees him, Dooku sees him, he's like, okay. All right, I guess I was a bit too brash. He lets the guy go. They leave. But, I mean, if you've read Dooku Jedi Lost or listened to it in audio, full cast audio play form on Audible, you'll know that Dooku has a sister. And I think around this time, he was probably still communicating with her secretly from the temple. I mean, they would send each other holo letters and things like that. He'd already found out who his family was. So, I mean, seeing this kid reunited with his dad probably had him thinking of his sister. So that appealed to his heart. I'd like to think Dooku has one, at least, in this point in time he does. And he lets everybody go. But right when he starts to force choke the guy a bit earlier, he delivers this really chilling bit of dialogue where he says something along the lines of, "Your corruption, people like you need to be eradicated." And well, of course, that's just a little bit of foreshadowing as to why Dooku fell to the dark side. You know how they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I mean, he's tired of watching these senators who are fat and happy on Coruscant ignoring the people that they represent. This has really infuriated him. I mean, the episode ends as one would expect. I love the line where Dooku says to Qui-Gon, "You're a much wiser man than I am." Similar to, well, more like exactly what Qui-Gon says to Obi-Wan in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And I like how Dooku commends Qui-Gon for saving so many lives. He says, "Your actions today have saved a lot of lives," or very many lives, something along those lines. I would give this short a 10 out of 10. It's what I've been wanting to see for quite some time in terms of Dooku and Qui-Gon as master and apprentice. At least I think Qui-Gon is still a Padawan here. I think Dooku actually calls him that at the end of the episode. I'm not really sure. Somebody correct me on that if you know. But I love the relationship between these two. I like how Dooku basically admitted that Qui-Gon pulled him back from the brink. Qui-Gon, always calm, always passive. He knew exactly what to do to get his master to stand down. And man, what a dark short this was. I say that in terms of visuals. From the descriptive audio narration track, this is a very, it's cloudy outside. And I think that really adds to the situation. How the clouds are gathering everywhere. The darkness is gathering. And this is just a foretaste of what's to come in these shorts. So next time we're going to be talking about choices. We get to see Dooku and Mace Windu going on a little mission. I really like that one. So be here for that. May the Force be with you. Hear you next time.